This is not a midlife crisis. Your neighbors probably will say it is. Your coworkers, oh, guaranteed they're going to say it is. But really, they're wrong. If you're new here, my name's Colin. I do motorcycle content. If you're a returning visitor, my name's still Colin, and thanks for coming back. Well, here's the truth. Buying a motorcycle later in life, it's not a midlife crisis. I'm not even sure midlife crisis is really a thing. You're in a better financial position to do this sort of thing. Maybe your kids are out of the house finally, so you're not taking away from family vacation money and grocery bill money and that sort of thing. And now's the time to reconnect with your spouse and do something that really ignites the passion. That's where motorcycling comes in. And I think you should buy the motorcycle. Is a motorcycle practical? Absolutely not. Are you going to go for groceries in the rain? No, it sucks. But, you know, some things are better done with the car. But it is a great way to get out and see nature and smell the smells of the countryside. And really, it's the most exhilarating thing you can do other than riding a roller coaster. And you're in charge of this roller coaster. So some suggestions for an older rider getting into motorcycles. You know, the basic advice doesn't always hold water anymore. You don't need to start on a 125 or a 250 because you're not some impulsive teenager who's just going to gun the throttle. And so one of the biggest psychological traps I think you're going to get is friends and neighbors and people you don't even know. As soon as they find out you want to buy a motorcycle, they're going to say, oh, but my brother's best friend's neighbor had this really bad accident once. Car came out of nowhere and slammed him and he's crippled now. You know what? You are going to hear the craziest stories of crazy accidents. One in a million things, you know, oh, buddy got hit by lightning. You know what? Just take it that they're concerned with you and leave the stories behind. Because really, you need to be able to trust the equipment that you're going to wear and the training that you're going to get is enough to keep you safe. Otherwise, it honestly isn't the sport for you. Yeah, there's a bit of risk to motorcycling, but we all get to that point where we've taken the training and we've out on the road and we feel comfortable. Not too comfortable, you're still watching the traffic, you're still being careful, but it's an acceptable risk. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. Thanks. The next psychological trap I think you're going to encounter is you're going to get on YouTube and you're going to see accident videos. Oh my God, they, you know, off the road and into the ditch and crash the bike, or you're going to get doom scrolling on TikTok and you're just going to see nothing but people acting really stupid on motorcycles, doing wheelies down the highway and, you know, wiping out and whatever. I want you to avoid that stuff because, again, I think the confidence is the key to be able to ride the motorcycle. You need to be able to just trust in yourself and what you're going to do. So here's how you're going to start. I want you to sign up for the MSF course if you're in the States. That's the Motorcycle Foundation. If you're up here in Canada like I am, there's a Gearing Up program. Most colleges offer that, and I highly recommend it. They're not going to teach you how to go 120 kilometers an hour on the highway or 100 miles an hour on the highway, even 80 miles an hour on the highway. Honestly, they're going to do a lot of slow speed stuff. They're going to make you very comfortable with the bike. And when you're done, you're going to be thankful that you're not one of those dudes duck walking your bike through the parking lot, afraid you're going to drop it. Or worse, afraid you're going to drop it every time you come to a stop at the stoplight. So trust me on that. Take the course. It's well worthwhile. Probably even save you on your bike insurance. It did for me. The next thing's equipment. And honestly, I want you to go to a store and try on helmets. It needs to fit, and it needs to fit well. And I want you to buy a good brand of helmet. Don't take the old advice, oh, $1,000 head, you got $1,000 helmet. You don't need to spend that much. $200-300, easily get an outstanding helmet. 150 bucks, perfectly safe and reasonable helmet. But stick to major brands. Stick to major brands like HJC or Bell or Icon or Scorpion, or, you know, if you really have the money to spend, fine, buy an Arai helmet or a Shui helmet. But you don't need to start like that. You don't need to start spending $1,000 perfectly safe in a $200-300 helmet. Honestly, what my suggestion is, the DOT standard isn't very safe. Typically, I look for an ECE rating or a Snell rating as well as the DOT, because that means that it's gone through more rigorous testing, frankly, in other countries, but more rigorous testing on the helmet, and it passed those tests as well. You'll find no-name skid lids with no styrofoam in them. Hey, they look cool, they're tiny to your head, but they won't protect you. And they have a DOT sticker on them. So keep that in mind. As for jackets and gloves, I bought a jacket on Amazon. It's a Hawk brand, HWK, very inexpensive. My first leather jacket, $200 and something. You can easily get a nice, you know, 3-4 season jacket for $300-400. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Just buy the best quality you can on 1 or 2 items and plan to replace the other stuff when your first gear wears out. Honestly, most of my friends who got into motorcycling, I take them to a motorcycle show and you buy inexpensive leather gloves, 20 bucks. You know, yeah, they're no name. Yeah, they don't have all kinds of crazy sliders and whatever on the palm, but they're reasonable quality. My gloves like that lasted for a couple of years. And then I bought better gloves. Yeah, there's more safety in them, but you know, you buy what you can and you should wear the gear. So that, of course, is the next thing, right? All the gear all the time. You see people out there, they're wearing shorts and flip-flops and a tank top riding their bike. It's not a great idea when you're new. It's probably not a great idea once you're an experienced rider either. But wear all the gear. Wear your jacket. Buy a mesh jacket if you need to when it's super hot in the summer like this. But wear them. And wear boots that cover your ankles, because, you know, that could hurt if you went down. Wear the gloves. I know this stuff's hot, but you can always stop, and plus all the air flowing through you. Just a brief update. If you're enjoying the content so far, if you'd hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. So lastly, the bike. Honestly, I started riding 18 years ago. I bought a Honda Shadow in 1985. It was almost 20 years old, for goodness sakes. Had 50,000 K on it. I bought it for $1,500. But you know what? It was running. It was well cared for. All the service had been done. You know, it was a well-loved bike. And I highly recommend a high kilometer bike over a bike with low kilometers that's been sitting for a decade with the tires rotting away and the hoses rotting away. So keep that in mind. Low kilometers, not always a great thing when it's a 10 or 15-year-old bike. It means that nobody's been riding it and nobody's been caring for it. So I prefer high kilometers and ridden over low kilometers to get a newer bike. That said, if you are going to buy a new bike, I really don't suggest financing it. You know, the next thing you know, that $5,000 bike becomes $8,000 out the door. Highly recommend starting with a used bike, because honestly, you're probably going to drop it, I hate to say. You don't want to bang up a brand new bike. And second, everybody I talk to, the bike they started on isn't the bike they're riding now. This isn't going to be your forever bike. You're going to start riding and then go, hey, there's adventure bikes, or hey, I want to get into sport bikes. I want to do sport touring. I want to do regular touring. Something's going to change and you're going to want to switch the bike. The important part is get a bike that functions, that's in one piece, that's cared for, that has all its service, and get out there and get riding. So back to engine size. People tell you, oh, start on a 125, start on a 250. That's great. So you don't need to start on a 125 or a 250. Honestly, insurance is really expensive, and it gets cheaper when you turn 25. I don't think you're going to be so impulsive that you're just going to gun the throttle, so it's not a big deal. What I would recommend is start with Honda Shadow. I really highly recommend them still. You'd be buying it used, but shaft drive, liquid cool. It means less maintenance on a bike when it's shaft drive. It is heavier and does sap some of the power away, but not having to lubricate your chain every day or every time it rains, really nice. I'd rather ride the bike than be fixing the bike all the time. Another suggestion is the Honda Rebels that are out. There's a 300, a 500, and 1100. Highly recommend, great bikes. Some other suggestions, Suzuki Boulevard C50. There's a million of those out there. That's a 800cc cruiser, a Kawasaki Ninja 500 if you like the sports style. That's always a really good bike and very reliable. Even a Honda or a Harley Davidson Sportster. Stick with the 800. I know you'll get the teased, oh, that's the girl's bike. It's a good starter bike. It's reasonably light. It doesn't have too much power. You really don't need to get up into 1200 and 1800 and that sort of thing. Starting with a heavy bike makes it harder to learn, honestly. Another great option would be the Yamaha MT-07. It's a naked bike. It's sort of a sport bike without all the plastics on it. It's a good choice. So I'm here to tell you, I'm your voice of peer pressure, as it were. If you're looking at buying a motorcycle, buy the motorcycle. Now's the time. You deserve it. Get out there. Enjoy the passion. I really love it, and it's something my wife and I do. We travel on our motorcycle, and it's been a great thing to do together.